Lyceum Pirates in our second game. And after that classic 5-setter to open our conference in EAC versus Adamson, now we'll witness one of the favorites against the younger guys. As my name is Carlo Pamintuan alongside Mosh Cruz and Mosh. Of course, the Philippine Air Force, we know what to expect from them. They are a very deep team with a loaded lineup.
As you mentioned, Carlos, second match in today's game, opening day, but we are bringing the Philippine Air Force, the champions in our open conference, against the new team here in Spikers Turf, Lyceum Pirates. Imagine experience versus eagerness, veteran players against young guns. And you know what? I cannot contain my excitement anymore. 24 teams here in Spikers Turf Open Conference, 4 balanced pools, and it's about time to show everyone what men's volleyball is all about.
We have 24 reasons to be excited about your 2019 Open Conference. As we said, this has been, the biggest group that we've had ever since the start, and this, Mosh, is our tournament system.
From 12 teams, now we have 24 teams, 10 club teams, 14 school-based teams, and then in the preliminary round, 4 pools, A, B, C, and D. Now, per pool, we have 6 teams, and in the elimination round, single round robin, and the 2 top teams will advance in the quarterfinals, and then the top seeded team has a twice to beat advantage and will go on in the semifinals, which has best of 3 series also in the final round.
And that is how we will crown the winner of the 2019 Open Conference. Will it still be Air Force? Will they be defeated by another team? And it could be one of the other 23. Taking a look now at our 24 teams seeing action for your 2019 Open Conference. Of course, we already saw Pool A action. Adamson defeating the EAC Generals in our first game. And in Group B, we have a strong group also, of course, composed of the Philippine Air Force Jet Spikers against some familiar teams. We've seen Ateneo here. We'll see now. And Pool D, you're looking at those squads. What's important here, Mosh, is that we've balanced out the competitions. We made sure that the stronger teams were evenly divided up among those 4 groups.
Definitely, veteran teams and school-based teams are going up in each other. Now, very balanced, walang makakalamang. And since it's a single round robin, talagang importante yung win every game.
And now let's send it over to our Coliseum announcer to meet our starting units for the Lyceum Pirates and the Philippine Air Force Go for Gold.
Presenting our national officials for this match. First referee, Mr. Bob Malenab, and second referee, Mr. Fernando Velarde. Let's now meet the starters for the Philippine Air Force Go for Gold. Let's start off with jersey number 2, Francis Philip Saura. At number 8, Kim Malabunga. Number 10, Fauzi Ismail. At number 11, Airman Second Class Al Nakaran Abdilia. Number 18, Madslan Gampong. And number 19, Airman Second Class Petrus De Ocampo. Starting libero is number 4, Rico Marmeto. With head coach, Staff Sergeant Dante Alinsunurin. Let's now meet the starting 6 for the Lyceum of the Philippines Pirates. Let's start off with the team captain, jersey number 12, Miko Binas. At number 1, Kier Tibayan. Number 3, Mark Castellano. Number 4, Harvey Dizon. At number 9, Juvic Colonia. And number 14, Sinmart Suporna. Starting libero is number 11, Kian Carlo Moral. With head coach, Mr. Emil Lontok. This is match number 2 of the preliminaries. Good luck to both teams.
Lyceum head by Coach Emiliano Lontok. Of course, on the other side, it's Coach Dante Alinsunurin for Air Force Go for Gold, assisted by Rovil Verayo. And that is your main man for Go for Gold. Randran Abdilia, of course, one of our best players, conference in and conference out here in Spikers Turf.
Definitely, Philippine Air Force, they had a good run in the reinforced conference, but they fell short in the finals against Signal HE Spikers. Signal HE Spikers swept that final round, but talking to the Philippine Air Force earlier, now they are ready because they are the defending champions here in the Open Conference. Even though we have more teams now, they wouldn't want that trophy to be, given to other teams.
First look at both teams and you can see the height advantage of the Philippine Air Force. Yung Lyceum halos pantay-pantay yung height. Dito naman sa Philippine Air Force, you can see that they have really tall players na hindi pa nga natin nakikita yung kanilang mga middle blockers that will be showing up in just a little bit. Bagunas will not be seeing action in this conference for Go for Gold.
Yes, Bagunas is still in Japan, and I saw his Instagram earlier. Nandun LDR pa sila ng girlfriend niya. Now, the LPU, as you mentioned earlier, they are shorter than Philippine Air Force because more on rookies pa itong LPU. That's why nung kausap ko kanina yung captain ball nila, yun ang sabi niya, puro rookie sila and they are excited to be in this league because they want to gain experience.
And this is exactly how you do it, by going up against one of the deepest teams that we have here in this conference.
Yun agad yung kalaban nila, yung defending champions dito sa Open Conference.
Wala ka man lang panahon magpainit no? Agad-agad Philippine Air Force yung kalaban. And this, we might see a lot because you're worried about the blocking of the Philippine Air Force Go for Gold. So you're expecting the Pirates to commit a little bit of errors in terms of hitting their balls long.
Yes, definitely kakapapa sila sa una, but they mentioned earlier na they are prepared. They watched the games of Philippine Air Force in the previous conference. They did not take a break after nila dito para makapag-ready sila sa Spikers turf. So I am expecting them to show up as well. Pero syempre una, kapapa sila.
And that is another familiar face on the attack there. That's Ismail with the kill. He had his ups and downs with his stint with the Philippine Air Force in our reinforced conference. May mga laro na tinanggal siya sa starting unit, na sinab siya agad. But you know the capacity of this guy, napakagaling na player.
Definitely, Ismail, before, kapag nauna kasi na nami-miss hit niya, nawawala siya sa laro. But kapag from the start, maganda yung palo niya, you would expect him to show up in the whole game. Pwede mo siyang bigyan ng bola and he would perform.
Saura now serving for Go for Gold. They're up by 5, and now this is a rotation error against Lyceum. Ito yung mga puntos na ayaw mong ipamigay if you're Lyceum. Magaling na nga yung kalaban mo. Huwag mo nang gawing madali para sa kanila.
Easy point for Philippine Air Force. No, kapag silang kalaban mo, kailangan mo ng focus. Hindi lang sa laro mo, but of course, yung mentality mo sa game, you know what to do and what not to do. Just like that, they gave up a point to the Philippine Air Force, and now 2 points straight for them.
Back-to-back errors against LPU. The second one caused by the outstanding blocking coming from Air Force Go for Gold. 7-2. And that is a check ball against Colonio. He was very impressive during their warm-ups. Looks like he really has the hops para makascore even against the outstanding blockers nitong Philippine Air Force.
And with that kind of leap, kahit nandyan si Malabunga sa harap mo and a taller blocker, you can do something about it. Just like that, pinadaan niya sa kamay ng blockers niya and he got a point.
Ismail takes it right back with a check ball, scoring as a response. And now we're heading into our first technical timeout with the Philippine Air Force Go for Gold up 8-3 against LPU.
Wala man ang sumisigaw. Kahit naman ang pumilay ng lakwan ko. Nakaka-receive ka sa pamabibris. Yeah. Bakit yung magsalita? Pero. Palakas. Ang palakas.
And this is your lineup for the LPU Pirates. As we said, Mosh, napakarami dito sa players na to are still rookies. We're looking at their birth dates. most of them were born from 1998 to 2001.
Very young players here in Spikers Turf. Makikita mo na very aggressive sila and they really want to win. Ganun kasi pag young player ka, all you want to do and all you want to have is that championship or winning status. More, pag sa veteran ka naman, you're more relaxed and you are more like pinag-iisipan mo kung ano yung gagawin mo.
That is a tough set to convert on for Colonia as he ends up with a miss hit. 9-3. The run continues for Air Force. Go for gold. Buti naiwasan nun. As that ball was out on the serve. Gampong hitting it a little too strong there.
Good decision by LPU. Naiwasan na lang because it is above their shoulder. Kapag ganun, outside na talaga.
Oh, but they give it right back again. The errors you have to minimize to have a shot at upsetting. Air Force go for gold.
And on that error, masyadong mahina yung pagkapalo niya. And he knew it right away. He apologized to his coach. And just one stop for LPU and I think kaya nilang bumawi dito.
Easily picked up there was that hit from Colonia. But this is a miss hit from Gampong. Tinamaan niya sa baba na ng bola. That was why it flew all the way to our A boards at the back.
Definitely. And wala na rin siya sa tamang approach. Kaya nandun na siya sa baba and nilagyan pa niya ng power. Kaya talagang tumasik yung bola.
Wow.
And solid block from Tibayan on that attack from Philippine Air Force.
Piso one-on-one there as the youngster got the better of malabunga lang naman yung sinoli niyang bola doon. Another nice block from LPU.
And again, solid block from LPU. You mentioned earlier they are shorter players and baka magkaroon sila ng issues sa blocking but now they are proving us wrong. Ang ganda ng blocking nila. 2 straight points.
Only down by 3 now as they score a point here. These kids are eager to show na hindi dahil mas malakas yung lineup bibiyak na lamang sila as Tibayan scores off that nice hit.
Cross-court attack by Tibayan and he only had one blocker kaya he took advantage of that one. And another point for LPU. That one goes out for the Philippine Air Force.
And just like that, Mosh, it's only a 1-point advantage for the Philippine Air Force. Go for gold. De Ocampo sets it up. Nakaswerte na doon itong Philippine Air Force as Malabunga adds on to their advantage. Now it's at 2 points.
Binalik lang ni Malabunga Hiso na hindi ready itong defense ng LPU. And kung si Malabunga, ganun talaga yung ginagawa niya. Pag nakikita niyang hindi ready yung kalaban niya, the drop ball niya off speed or talagang ilalagay niya sa pwesto.
Now Malabunga, the middle blocker, will be serving as his team is up 11-9. Good pickup there for the Philippine Air Force. Saan sila pupunta? Off speed, almost scoring there for Abdilia. De Ocampo sets it up. No, tried to score on the second ball as Tibayan overhits the mark to give up another point for the Philippine Air Force.
Too wide for Tibayan on that one. He wanted to go cross-court pero mali yung pagkapalo niya kaya hindi bumaba yung bola.
Another thing that rally could do for the Philippine Air Force is wake them up a little bit and show them na, teka, lalaban itong Lyceum.
And we know Philippine Air Force, they're kind of diesel. Kapag sa simula, very relaxed sila. Pero pag nakikita nila na lumalaban yung kalaban nila, dun na sila nag-activate and dun na nila ginagawa yung laro na kung ano talagang laro nila dito sa Spikers Turf.
Abdilia scores on the check ball there. They're back up by 4 again. Yung sets nitong Lyceum Pirates ay may problema here in the first set. They are giving up a lot of unforced errors. As they're down by 5 once again, they call a timeout.
Intimidate ka. Hindi naman ganun kung gagaling mo malaki. May mababagal na bola, kaya niya. Pero pag bumili sumandi, abutan niya. Hindi ka pwede ka mag-B.
Ha? Sinapay yan? Eh, sige. Biski pabihan mong ganun. Director mo dito. Hindi abot sa iyo ang dulo eh. Guys. Abot ang dulo.
Sir, 1-2. See you.
And you like what the Lyceum Pirates are getting from head coach Emil Lontok, because he's trying to tell them that you can't be scared of the Philippine Air Force squad. Even if they look like, you know, an outstanding team, you have to think that you have a chance against them.
Yes, kasi nakikita niya medyo intimidated itong players niya because of the height and the skills of the Philippine Air Force. But he knows that his players can do as much as what Philippine Air Force is doing.
Unstoppable attack there coming from Randran Abdilia. Look at him soar and score, finding the crease in the defense and adding to their advantage, which now stands at 6 points. Meanwhile, Colonia getting one back. Another outstanding attack coming from that guy.
That is just on the line for Colonia. And they should do more of those. Kailangan nilang umatake ng malakas because as coaching staff said earlier, Philippine Air Force can block, pero pag nilakasan nila, makakalusot yung bola nila.
Good dig there as it's kept alive. Tibayan hits it straight into the net. As we are heading into our second technical timeout of the second set, the Philippine Air Force recovering after their lead dwindled to just a single point. They're up by 6 again, 16-10. And your unit for the Philippine Air Force Jet Spikers, of course, they still listed Brian Bagunas, but as we said, he is still in Japan. But even without him, look at the names. A bunch of Philippine team level talent is present here in the squad.
Very deep bench here for the Philippine Air Force. Kahit sino hugutin mo, magpe-perform. And you know what? They lost to Magid because he joined Signal HG Spikers here in this conference.
How can the Pirates recover? That hit is wide as they're down by 7 points right now.
Wanting to go down the line pero napasobra yung angulo. Kaya ang point ito for Philippine Air Force.
There's setter De Ocampo. Saporna was denied there. Masyado ng marami yung depensa na naghihintay sa kanya.
Solid block for the Philippine Air Force. You got Saura right there and Gampong for that attack from the LPU.
Good recovery coming from the Philippine Air Force. And now they're playing with more, momentum. Mas loose na sila as compared to how they started. Another chance to score here. And they do. Gampong with another point. They're up by 9. And that will force a timeout coming from the LPU Pirates. So this back set coming from De Ocampo. Gampong sending it home as they lead 19-10.
Sabit, outside, ano? Ha? Kaya mong duminayin niya, pabalong mo sa ibabaw, patalo mo, mabilis.
Nating tinatapon. Yan yung mensahe ni Coach Emil Lontok sa kanyang mga manlalaro. And we have to agree, there are so many errors from the side of the LPU Pirates here in the first set. And it could have been a much closer one if only they limited their mistakes.
Definitely, committing attacking errors, receiving errors, and another one for LPU. You know, kaya nilang lumaban. They have the skills, but as Coach Emil said, they are intimidated here in this first set. They have to adjust on that. They just scored 10 here in the first set, pero hindi pa tapos, Carlo. They can do so much more. And kailangan nilang mag-focus here in this first set.
Pero kita mo yung panghihinayang coming from the Pirates because when they got going, they scored, what, 4 straight points against the Philippine Air Force, which is something that's not easy to do. As we check out this Abdilia hit once again.
Ang napapansin ko, Carlo, hindi pa nila natatimingan yung attackers itong Philippine Air Force. They are blocking pero hindi nila nakukuha kung saan dadalhin yung bola. So they have to adjust on that dahil yung leaping abilities nila mataas din. But yun nga, kailangan nilang i-adjust kung paano nila pupwestohan yung blockings nila.
Saura with a defensive mistake in the last one. Good dig coming from the Pirates. Back row attack to soft. De Ocampo with a nice setup there, leading to a point. Another one for the Philippine Air Force.
Clear path for Gampong on that cross-court attack, giving a point to Philippine Air Force, and they are just 3 points away in getting this first set.
Nung nagising yung Philippine Air Force, wala nang naisagot itong LPU Pirates. Abdilia with his usual jump serve. Again, the sets have not been on point for the Pirates here in the first set.
That was a misset by Castellano. He wanted to set that for his attacker, pero sumobra kasi yung set niya dito sa kabilang court, kaya kinuha na ng Philippine Air Force yung bola.
And now, Ranran Abdilia adds to their woes with a service ace, just like that. Mosh, we're at set point. Magbabalasa ng setter si Coach Emil Lontok. Castellano struggling, so Legazpi will get the opportunity. Another service ace. Diyan natutuldukan ni Ranran Abdilia. Our first set of this matchup, 25-11 is your score in favor of Philippine Air Force. Go for gold. If you remember, the score was 10-9 in their favor after that big run coming from the Pirates. All of a sudden, an explosion coming from our defending champions of the Open Conference.
No, LPU had a good start. Akala natin matutuloy-tuloy na to, but then when the Philippine Air Force had their game going, gumanda yung laro ng Philippine Air Force at wala nang nasagot itong LPU.
Dominant start for the Philippine Air Force, showing just how strong their lineup is, taking care of the younger LPU Pirates. Tignan natin kung may igaganti pa itong Pirates in the second set. 25-11 was your score in your opener. The numbers of your first set. Mosh, run us through what happened.
Look at that, very obvious. 10 attacks for the Philippine Air Force and just 4 for LPU. And the errors, they had 11 versus just 5 from the Philippine Air Force. Blocks pareho lang, aces, dalawa lang sa Philippine Air Force. Pero yun talaga, Carlo, because of the attack errors of LPU, talagang wala silang nagawa on that first set.
Preparing for the second set of this matchup between the LPU Pirates and the Philippine Air Force go for gold, and would like to take this opportunity coming from the Spiker Stir family to greet Signal TV Vice President for Channels and Content, Ms. Shene Olaso. A very happy birthday. As we're just about ready to pick up the action inside the Paco Arena, we're inviting everyone to please join us when you have time. You'll enjoy outstanding volleyball action. Tatlong laro pa yan. Mapapanood nyo every game day. So if you have time, join us here.
3 games per day every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And kailangan masimulan mo yung first game, Carlo, para sulit na sulit mo makita itong mga laro ng men's volleyball.
You'll see some of our top stars, some of our up-and-comers from our different collegiate squads.
Triple block right there for the Philippine Air Force. And makikita mo, alam din nila na malakas pumalo yung LPU because nagte-triple block din sila.
Yeah. Yung main setter ng Philippine Air Force, itong si Jesse Lopez, also their captain. We haven't seen him yet in this matchup, as it has been all Petros de Ocampo. LPU finally getting their first point of the second set. They're still down by 1. Tampong with a cross-court hit there. He scores again.
He's been doing that since the first set. Puro cross-court attack itong si Gampong, and he's putting power. Look at that. 2 blockers pero lumusot sa kanila. And nakaka-score talaga siya on his attack.
But he overhits the mark on the serve. Talking about Ranran Abilia as he gives up an unforced error. Point for LPU. You know, having all of these weapons, Mosh, in front, kung ikaw yung Philippine Air Force, what it also does is it keeps the defense guessing kung saan talaga pupunta yung bola.
Definitely, kapag strong yung frontliners mo, malilito talaga yung kalaban mo kasi pwede ka mag-open, pwede ka mag-quick, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yun yung options mo, and that is very deadly.
Chance ball here, quickly converted to a point by Malabunga.
Malabunga just wiped that through the hands of the blockers of LPU.
Yun yung maganda kay Malabunga, no? Alam niya talaga kung paano basahin yung depensa na nakikita niya. Single block working out there. And the Philippine Air Force go for gold. They're humming again, up by 4, 6-2.
That was a 4 touches violation for LPU. Hindi naman kasi nahawakan ni Ismail. Dumaretso sa net and bumalik sa kanila.
Pero may mga naririnig tayo dito na supporters ng LPU Pirates.
And we are very happy to see the fans supporting their teams ditong live sa Paco Arena.
Even from EAC and Adamson, there were a few fans there present in our first game, which proved to be, you know, an opening 5-setter for our open conference. A sign of things to come, maybe.
Yes, first game, 5 sets. What an opening game for them. And you know, as we mentioned earlier, Carlo, kapag player ka and kapag may nag-cheer sa'yo, umiiba yung laro mo.
Good blocking coming from LPU. It's something that we saw a little bit from them in the first set also.
Solid block by Dizon on Ismail's attack on that one. And yun yung sinasabi ko kaninang kailangan nilang i-adjust kasi nakakalusot at nakakalusot yung palo nitong Philippine Air Force.
But this time, hindi na nila madedepensahan yung palo nitong si Gampong as he extends their lead to 7 and marches to the service area.
Gampong on that one. Down the line attack naman. Narinig niya yata ako kanina na sinasabi ko puro cross-court yung atake niya.
One-handed set. Well, the hit is outside. First technical timeout of the second set with Air Force go for gold, doubling up on the score of LPU 8-4.
Kaya mo, gamit na. Set mo, hindi maikpit yan. Hindi maikpit. May bibig na kaya mo yan, ha?
Tol, huwag kayong malo.
Ay, kaya mo yan. Ha? Dayain mo na. Basta dayain mo na. Pinakita mo na ito. Pag na-black, taas mo lang.
Par, kulang kayo sa galaw, par.
Palo, ha?
Pigil na pigil kayo gumalaw, par.
Go. Palo. Unahin mo, wala. Masyadong una-una.
Kasi 1-2. Zero.
Eight to 4 is the score in favor of Air Force Go for Gold as we welcome you back to the Paco Arena here in Manila. Carlo Pamintuan and Mosh Cruz at your service again. This is opening day for your 2019 Open Conference of Spikers Turf. Already saw the Adamson Falcons pick up the first win against the EAC Generals. Ngayon naman, Philippine Air Force will try to do the same against the LPU Pirates. Mats Gampong overcooks the mark as he gives up a point for the Pirates.
Too wide for Gampong on that one. Kasi ang layo ng take-off ni Gampong para sa palo na yun, kaya lumabas yung bola.
Sinmart Saporna serving now for LPU. De Ocampo sets it up. What a quick from Malabunga.
Quick attack by Malabunga, meaning quick point for Philippine Air Force.
Parang yung dinedepensahan doon ng LPU nasa likod pa eh. They were not ready for that quick. They did not think Malabunga would sky for that one.
And that's really the talent of Malabunga. You wouldn't know kung aatake na siya or hindi pa because he's very relaxed when he's playing.
That hit goes long mula kay Kim Malabunga as it will inch the LPU Pirates a little closer. So down by 3 though, 9-6. Harvey Dizon now serving for the Pirates. They go to Abdilia. Cross-court hit is gone.
No defender for LPU on that attack from Abdilia. Kitang-kita niya na walang tao doon. And hindi na rin niya nilagyan ng power yung atake. He just placed the ball on that one. Look at that. May blockers pero nilagay niya pa rin doon yung bola.
And you can see that it is a problem defensively for the LPU Pirates. Yung cross-court hit na yan, hindi nila mabantayan for some reason.
Even in the first set, yun yung naging problem nila. And still here in the second set, target ng Philippine Air Force cross-court. Kasi wala talaga nagbabantay.
Umiinit na ang Philippine Air Force Go for Gold. They're up by 5 now, 11-6. Colonia hits it straight into the net.
That was too low for Colonia to hit on that one. Wala na rin siya sa timing.
Dito talaga mabibuild yung experience, no? Going up against a team as good as the Philippine Air Force, if you commit mistakes, they will take full advantage of it. Meanwhile, we're seeing glimpses of brilliance coming from the defense of LPU.
Yes, definitely. Legazpi and Del Rio, solid block dun sa palo ni Abdilia. And you saw them, natuwa sila na na-block nila si Abdilia. And that is outside for Saura. And he knew it right away.
Alam mo, makaisa ka lang kay Abdilia, matatandaan mo na eh. For a
yes,
very long
Carlo.
while.
As a player, ganun. Kapag na-block mo yung sobrang galing na player, parang pride mo na na-block ko siya.
Legaspi, good effort there. Still trying to chase that ball, but he will run out of space, yielding another point to the Philippine Air Force.
You know, Cardo, earlier, iba yung mood dito ng LPU. You can see them communicating, but in this set, hindi na natin sila naririnig na nag-uusap.
Natetense na rin, eh, no? The frustration building up. As a net touch is whistled against the Philippine Air Force. One of their few mistakes in this match.
That was, so sumobra yung talon dito. Kaya lumagpas siya sa kabilang court. That's why the point will go to LPU.
9 serving 13. This is Jomel Legaspi. for the Pirates. They go to Gampong, and he gets it through the blockers.
Gampong has been doing a great job here for the Philippine Air Force. Kanina pa during the first set, cross court. Pero ngayon, nilagay niya sa harapan ng blockers yung bola.
Abdilia serving for the Philippine Air Force. He gets a friendly touch from the tape as he scores another service ace. Philippine Air Force showing their dominance, 15-9. We're one away from our second technical timeout, pero hihingi pa ng timeout dito ang LPU.
May nag-appel. Paano nangyari sa'yo? Ha? Kasama ka. Huwag kayo matakot ng kamali. Basta maling ang bola, receive. Okay? Ha?
Stoy, galaw. Kulang tayo sa galaw, pare.
Isa lang, guys.
Isa lang.
Dikit lang natin.
Say 1, 2, 0.
15-9, a 6-point advantage for the Philippine Air Force as they are in complete control of this matchup against the youngsters of LPU.
And you know, in the timeout, a very great point by Coach Emil. Sabi niya, huwag kayong matakot magkamali. Basta you put effort, okay lang yun.
Service error coming from Ranran Abdilia. His second error of the second set. Looks like Coach Dante Alinsunurin is just about ready to send in Jesse Lopez in the next opportunity. Mads Gampong scores another point here. Lead is back to 6 for Air Force. Go for gold. Second technical timeout of set number 2. 6-point advantage for the Air Force. Back after the second technical timeout of the second set, 16-10 in favor of Philippine Air Force. Go for gold against LPU. Once again, we thank you for your continued support of Spikers Turf. This is your 2019 Open Conference. Carlo Pamintuan and Mosh Cruz on the call. Great blocking there. The combination of Mads Gampong and Malabunga with the denial.
Solid block on that one. They did not put much effort rather on that one, pero solid pa rin yung blocking nila.
Kung kasing tangkad mo talaga si Malabunga.
Parang ang dali-dali para sa'yo mag-block.
Meanwhile, they go to Ismail, sent up by the libero. Chance here for the LPU Pirates.
Good dig right there.
And they will score all of that effort. De Ocampo did his best to send it up, pero hindi na nasuportahan nitong si Ismail.
Inintay na niya sa baba, pero wala siya sa tamang position to get that ball. That resulted to an error.
And he was also too close to the net, no? Tough angle to still send that ball over. Great serve there, and it'll be a service ace. Kontra kay Abdilia.
You need a targeted Abdilia on that service. Let us see if ganun ulit yung gagawin niya.
Sabi niya siguro kanina pa kami sinuskora na service ace itong si Abdilia. At least let's get one against him. Good defense here coming from LPU. Oh, but that is an error on the set. Double contact.
Ball handling violation for LPU. He was still moving nung sinet niya yung bola.
Rueca and Jesse Lopez seeing their first action of the matchup, replacing Gampong and De Ocampo. Jesse Lopez, a team captain of the Philippine Air Force, also a member of our Philippine men's team pool. 18-12 is the count. Another ugly play mula dito sa LPU.
He had the intention of bringing back the ball to Philippine Air Force court, pero nakita niya kasi pumayong si Malabunga. Kaya iniwas niya, but hindi na rin kaya kasi wala siya sa tamang posisyon.
At yun yung frustration ni Coach Emil Lontok, that all of this second guessing is completely because ang taas ng respeto nila sa
Yes,
Philippine Air Force.
Na kapag gumalaw itong Philippine Air Force, nagdadalawang isip na ngayon itong LPU na gumalaw to get the ball.
Nakita mo, when they run their plays perfectly, maganda naman yung resulta eh. They're getting good connections, good hits. And now another timeout will be requested by the LPU Pirates. They're down big now, 21-12 against the Air Force. Go for goal.
Ng bola, baka di, pag ni-receive, hinihila mo, ay, diretso yun, no? Wala kayo receive eh. Wala tayong ni-receive na bola. Hindi makapag-kombinasyon. Ang hina naman na service eh.
Uy, diskarte. Labanan nyo kasi, Tol. Ayaw nyo sa tatapangan. Labanan nyo. Mula sa labas. Binabaliwala nyo. Gagawin nyo kung ano yung laro nyo, Tol. Wag nyo.
21-12. Overwhelming advantage here coming from the Philippine Air Force against the LPU Pirates. The youngsters are looking lost here in the second set. They showed some fight in the first. Ito naman, they get another good point courtesy of Juvic Colonia.
Colonia earlier, ang ganda rin nung atake niya, pero nung binalik na ng Philippine Air Force yung bola, nawala na ulit sila. And you know, LPU, they know what is wrong. Alam nila kung ano yung kailangan nilang i-adjust, but they just couldn't get it here in the second set.
You know, for Colonia, this also helps build your confidence knowing that you can score against a team as good as the Philippine Air Force.
And also, if you have blockers in front, pero dumadiretso pa rin yung bola mo.
Another quick converted by Malabunga.
Very simple attack by Malabunga, but very powerful.
22-13 now. 9-point advantage still for the Philippine Air Force, and that is a service ace for Fauzi Ismail.
That one was supposed to be an outside ball, pero kinuha pa rin ng LPU. Resulted to an error.
Good numbers already, 7 points for Fauzi Ismail. Abdilia, great connection with Lopez once again.
And that has a net touch violation from LPU, but still a good attack from Abdilia.
Lopez going to Abdilia, as they have done so many times in the past. They're at set point.
Late yung blockers ni Abdilia on that one, kaya ang ganda pa rin ng atake niya.
But if you're the LPU Pirates, you cannot take a look at the score right now because that will only, add the pressure that's on your shoulders.
And you know, when you're a young player, talagang titignan mo yung score and you get worried. Pero yun nga, sabi mo, Carlo, dapat hindi nila tignan yung score and hindi pa naman tapos itong set na to, pwede pa silang bumawi.
Look for positives. Look for areas na you can bring into the next set, maybe even into your next game. Overreaching. No, net touch. Kontra sa LPU Pirates, and that will end set number 2. Another strong performance coming from the Philippine Air Force. They win by double digits once again. 25-11 was the first set. 25-15 now here in the second set. You can see the reactions coming from both camps. Supreme confidence coming from the Philippine Air Force. A little bit of worry on the side of the LPU Pirates. Can the youngsters recover, or will this experienced Air Force squad go for the kill in the third set? Coming up in just a few. In the second set, you can see that LPU, they were able to limit their errors, 7 compared to 6, but it was still the overwhelming advantage in attacks that allowed Air Force go for gold to pick up another set.
In the second set, sabi mo nga na-lessen na lang yung errors, but Carlo, wala silang first ball. That's why they were not able to attack properly. Wala silang combination plays. And also, nami-misset din yung first ball because very weak yung first ball receive nila.
It's all about the first ball, especially, you know, in turning defense into offense. Dapat, you know, as close to perfect as possible to give yourself a shot at scoring against the vaunted defense of the Philippine Air Force. We're seeing three veterans checking in. Labrador. Si Mojica maglalaro na rin kasama si Jesus. 4 actually veterans from the Philippine Air Force squad.
Si Mojica actually yung hinahanap ko talaga dito sa Philippine Air Force because I know his game. Alam ko kung gaano rin siya kalakas pumalo. And eto na siya. Let us see kung ano ang gagawin niya dito sa third set.
So Malabanan, Jesus, Labrador, combining with Abdilia and Lopez.
Taller players for Philippine Air Force here in this third set.
All dangerous scorers. So if you're LPU, you know, wala nga yung Malabunga, yung Fauci Ismail, pero yung nadagdag naman, Mojica, you were talking about him and his ability to score. He finds a way there to score the first point for the Air Force here in the third set.
Just down the line on that first score in this third set for Mojica.
Let's see kung ano pa ipapakita sa atin ng LPU Pirates. That hit the antenna for Tibayan. Automatic out, an error for the Pirates.
Very clear na sumobra yung set dito kay Tibayan and ginawa na lang niya ng paraan but it was impossible for him na ibalik na doon dahil sumobra na nga yung bola.
Tibayan, one more try. This time he scores.
Down the line attack by Tibayan. Not too much power pero nilagyan niya ng speed.
Good angle from Tibayan, and you're liking what you're seeing from LPU. He made a mistake. Give him another opportunity to correct it. That is a service error though for LPU. No, kailangan talaga against a team as good as the Air Force. You need a hot start. Dapat kakaumpisa pa lamang ng set. Maganda na talaga yung laro mo.
And we saw that kaninang first set sa kanila and nawala ng second set. But this one, we can see them slowly giving energy in this game.
Sinmart Saporna serving here for LPU.
They've been targeting Abdilia sa service nila. And look, they got a score out of it.
Malabanan called it out, but I think Abdilia thought that it still had a chance of dropping in, kaya sinubukan niyang kunin.
And that will go to Philippine Air Force. That was wide for Mojica, but there was a net touch from LPU.
Yep. Babalik sa kanilang lamang 4-3. Good set for Colonia, pero napayungan siya doon ni Jerus.
Jerus and Labrador, very deadly blockers here for the Philippine Air Force. Actually, yung tatlong frontliners nila, isama mo pa si Mojica. Look at that solid block from Philippine Air Force. Hinintay na lang nila yung atake dito ng LPU.
Saw it coming from a mile away. Colonia. Unfortunately, that ball bounced in for LPU. It had a chance.
Yes.
It came after the block. They were hoping that it will bounce out.
They were actually waiting for the ball na matouch yung floor.
Malamig pa itong si Malabanan as he commits a service error there. 6-4 in favor of the Philippine Air Force. Pero binalik lang, sinoli lang yung punto nitong si Tibayan with his own service error.
For LPU, kailangan nilang lumapit dito sa Philippine Air Force so that they will have a good chance here in this third set. Hindi nila pwedeng hayaan na mag-pull away itong Philippine Air Force.
That's the key. Stay within striking distance. The Philippine Air Force, give yourselves a chance at pulling it out in the end.
But
we are...
that attack from Jerus is impossible for you to get for LPU.
We're back where we were, Mosh, in the second set. Ganito rin yung score. Doble, 8-4 in favor of the Philippine Air Force. Go for goal Jet Spikers against the LPU Pirates.
Anong gagawin niya? Para tuloy-tuloy na tayo, di ba? Hindi lang naman ito yung pinaghahandaan natin eh. Ha? O ha? Sige, tuloy lang nyo. Let's block. Ba't na mula ka?
Network!
This is your tournament system. We have 10 club teams and 14 school-based teams. Pinagsama na natin kasi wala na tayong collegiate conference. Everyone is competing here in our open conference. Top 2 teams from our 4 groups will advance into our quarterfinals, with the number 1 teams holding twice to beat advantage. Yan po ang importante. And then we'll have the semifinal best of 3 and our finals, which will also be a best of 3. We will also be giving out bronze medals to our third place finisher after only one knockout matchup.
Very interesting format for a league na merong 24 teams. Kasi kung hindi natin to ginawa, matagal itong maging open conference natin. But because we divided the teams into 4 pools, ganun pa rin yung takbo ng conference.
Pero yung maganda dyan, among the 10 club teams, of course, they're all divided equally. And then, meron kang NCAA teams, may kasama kang UAAP teams. So, you'll be seeing matchups that you have not seen before. And that is part of why we think, these men deserve a lot of attention sa ating open conference.
That's why sabi nga natin, kailangan na malaman ng lahat kung ano yung kayang i-offer ng men's volleyball.
Oh, this action. Biggest rally, longest rally of the matchup so far, kept alive. Sayang na pagkakataon. LPU, inabutan na rin ang pagod after that exchange. Another point for the Philippine Air Force.
Let us commend the effort of LPU on that play as well. Look at that. They are very attentive. Pero Jeruz was there to just drop the ball. 3 players from LPU were there pero hindi nila nakuha.
That hit is out. Minadali yung palo. Kaya naman sumobra. 10-5.
Pinalo na lang niya vertically. Hindi na siya matras to approach. That's why sobrang
Flat.
dapat. Sobrang flat. Yes, that's the word. Sobrang flat ng bola.
Mojica serving here. They're up by 5. Colonia. Nice hit. Pero maganda yung depensa. Malabanan scores from behind. Sorry, this is Labrador.
Labrador. Cross-court attack with power speed.
Normally, quick yung nakikita natin
Yes.
mula sa kanya. Pero pinakitaan niya tayo ng magandang palo doon as he extends their lead to 6. Service error there for Mojica as he will give up a point for the LPU Pirates. Oh, they get a service ace here, and this is exactly what you want to see from them. String together 2, 3, maybe 4 points and show the Philippine Air Force na hindi kayo bibigay.
And you know, little by little, kaya niyong humabol. Basta do what you want to do and you know, lalaban lang. Because in the first and second set, nawawala kasi sila towards the set. Pero ngayon nakikita natin lumalapit sila.
Chance ball. But that was an overhit. Attack is out kontra sa Philippine Air Force. That's 3 straight points now. For the LPU Pirates, definitely a positive as they play good defense there. Saporna off speed, does not connect. And that back row hit is money for Mojica.
You see how Mojica plays in the back row. Nung nakita ko siya dati maglaro, that is his specialty. Talagang pumapalo siya sa likod. Look at that. Kala mo frontliner yung pumalo.
Amazing power coming from Mojica as he ends the run coming from LPU.
And a back row attack also from Colonia to get a point for LPU.
Siya talaga, no? Yung lumalaban para dito sa LPU Pirates. Showing his kuyas from the Philippine Air Force. And I'm not here just to play. I'm here to compete against you guys. Lopez sends it up. Mojica, soft touch, finds the gap.
Seeing no coverage for the LPU side. Wala yung libero. He was not on the right position. He had 2 blockers in front. Tumalon, pero he was not able to get that.
Another chance here for the Philippine Air Force. Soft touch. Won't work out. Saporna kept it alive. Colonia from the back row. Blocked by Malabanan.
Single block by Malabanan. And alam din niya na dun dadalhin ni Colonia yung bola. That's why he was just waiting there on that zone.
Back to a 5-point advantage for the Philippine Air Force. 14-9. Timeout. LPU Pirates.
Ano gagawin mo? Wala naman dalang kutsilyo. Hindi na, abdak na nila. Hindi ka ma, ang kulay mo, hindi wala sa lugar. Naka-percent na to.
Tol, walang dalang ano yun, jet flex. Walang dalang baril yan, Tol. Player tayo ngayon lahat dito, par. Nakita mo.
9 for LPU, 14 for the Philippine Air Force. After that timeout, can we see another run coming from them? They pulled off a good one earlier, scoring 3 straight points, which is by no means easy to do against the Philippine Air Force. Gandang atake, pero mas maganda yung depensa. Good block. Nabasa na ni Saporna yung gustong gawin ni Mojica.
And look at that, Saporna just single-handedly getting the point for LPU. Yun yung gusto talaga makita ni Coach Emil sa team niya.
And you're always extra happy as a coach if your team scores off your timeout.
Good coverage from Lopez.
Solid dive there coming from the setter. That hit is wide against the Pirates.
Too wide on that attack for LPU. And yun yung kailangan mong iwasan because you know you have blockers. Pwede mong padaanin sa blockers para hindi lumabas yung bola mo.
Yung serve ni Abdilia mas mahina na. He pulled back on the power after committing a couple of mistakes. Meanwhile, makakalapit dito ang LPU Pirates. Down only by 4, 11, serving 15 now. One-handed set, pero nadepensahan. Good coverage coming from Abdilia. Lopez, sobra yung set. Opportunity once again for the LPU Pirates of this chance ball. Colonia.
Outside hit by Colonia, trying to target down the line, but he was unsuccessful on that one.
And that will send us into our second technical timeout of the third set. Philippine Air Force Jet Spikers up 16-11. Our games on Thursday, still here at the home of Spikers Turf, Paco Arena in Manila. Santa Elena Ballhammers going up against Mapua in Pool D action. And then Pool A featuring Adamson going against the NCBA Wildcats, capped off by the CU Scorpions versus the Eco Oil DLSU Green Spikers for Pool B. Yan po ang ating schedule on Thursday. You can keep it locked in on One Sports. Of course, you can check out all the action live on our Facebook streaming. Colonia getting it against the blockers and out.
You see, Carlo, yun yung sinasabi natin kanina pa for the LPU kasi ang ginagawa nila, iniiwas nila yung palo nila sa blockers kaya laging lumalabas. Now, what they can do is tamain nila sa blockers and look at that, they got a point out of it.
That hit from Mojica was slowed down by the block. This one completely snuffed out by the blockers of the Philippine Air Force.
Solid block by Labrador on that one. And again, no coverage for LPU. Masyadong mabilis yung bola. Look at that. Two blockers were there for that attack and no coverage for them.
Pero kita mo naman yung supporters ng LPU down 2-0, down by 5 points here in the third set. Still, showing support for their squad. They're having a bit of issues, a bit of confusion here dun sa substitution. We'll ask for clarification later on.
I think the name is different here in the list of the officials kesa dito sa lineup ng LPU.
And you can see the team captain of the LPU Pirates with our second official.
Carlo, I got that the numberings of LPU's jersey is different from the official lineup that the official has. So a little of clarifications here.
So let's see if our officials will allow the substitution. That is number 18, Escalar, who's having an issue with the substitution. It looks like he will not be allowed to sub in. Bit of a delay here in the third set. Because we have to get it correctly. Strict po ang ating liga. We follow the rules to the letter. I remember last conference, Mosh, na iba lang yung shade ng blue ng
Yes,
jersey. Hindi na pinalaro yung isa nating player.
Because that's the rule. So, kailangan yung uniform nila pare-pareho ng colors. And the numbering, kung ano yung nangyari ngayon, kailangan yung numbering sa officials table, ganun din yung number sa jersey nila. But, yun nga, couple of mistakes here.
So the sub does not work out for LPU. 17-12 is the score, still in favor of the Philippine Air Force. Good dig there coming from Abdilia. Pagkakataon naman para sa LPU Pirates. Oh, walang sumalo nung second ball. Good point here for the Pirates.
That was a good attack from LPU. And na-receive ng Philippine Air Force but no one got the second ball.
They need a mini run here. You're talking about the Pirates. Para pakabahin man lang itong Philippine Air Force. And they get another point of double contact.
Double touch violation here for the Philippine Air Force. And that's very rare, Carlo, na matawagan sila ng ganun.
And this run will continue. However, that is the end of it. A service error, a mistake coming from the red shirts will cost them a point.
You know, LPU, they are getting points, but binabawi pa rin ang errors nila. Kaya nakakalayo pa rin itong Philippine Air Force.
Pero nakita mo, Mosh, paganda ng paganda. No? The first set, 25-11. Now, the second set, 25-15. Now they're poised to score more than 15 points. So, what they learned in the first set, nagamit naman nila to their advantage moving forward.
And we can see that they are really adjusting. Now, let us see, sa upcoming games nila, kaabang-abang na rin itong LPU.
Great blocking coming from Jerus.
Colonia tried twice on that attack, pero solid blockers in front of him from the Philippine Air Force.
20-14 now. Running attack is wide. Pag talaga gumana na yung opensa ng Philippine Air Force, they're difficult to stop, but that's a service error coming from Mojica. Way too long on that one.
Too high hit for Mojica on his service. Normally, yung error ni Mojica, diretso sa net. But on that one, lumipad talaga yung bola. And just like that, an error from LPU. Colonia, service error once again.
And it is not the first time that this happened, no, Mosh? Yung magkaka-service error yung Philippine Air Force, pero babalik lang nitong LPU.
Para nagkakahawaan sila on the service line.
Back row attack will not work out. Ball is still alive here. Abilia rams it straight into the net for another point for LPU. Again, this is their best performance in any set. Only had 11 in the first, only had 15 in the second. Now they're at 16. LPU looking for options. And they will score here. Di na naabutan ni De Ocampo.
That was an over receive for Philippine Air Force, Mojica. And nahirapan si De Ocampo habulin yung bola.
Another chance to inch closer for LPU. Good serve. De Ocampo has to chase this ball. Abdilia, inangguluhan na lang. De Ocampo, kanino pupunta? They go to the back. What an excellent combination attack there.
Very nice attack by Rueca. And he knows na sa kanya yung ibibigay yung bola. Look at that combination play from the Philippine Air Force.
Jesse Lopez checks back in. Serving for the Air Force. Tibayan. Di niya mawagawa ng paraan yung napakatangkad na kombinasyon ni na Labrador and Malabanan.
Kapag sila yung nasa harap, talagang gagawin mo dapat ng paraan yung atake mo. You cannot attack na diretso lang dahil nandun sila.
Service out though, kontra kay Lopez. Still, and match point, 24-18. Bina serving there for LPU. Good defense coming from the Pirates. Saporna blocked.
And that touched the antenna, giving a point to the Philippine Air Force and ending this game 25-18. LPU, they had a good run in the first set. Maganda yung ginawa nila, but because kinalaban agad nila yung defending champions natin, Philippine Air Force, marami pa silang adjustments na kailangan gawin.
No expected result, but what we'd like to see, what we're happy about, was we saw some fight coming from the LPU Pirates more and more as the game progressed, but they will lose this one via straight sets 25-11, 25-15, and 25-18. We'll meet our best player when we come back. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The defending champions of our Open Conference starting out with a bang here. Philippine Air Force go for gold Jet Spikers with a 3-set victory against the LPU Pirates, and our best player of the game with 9 attacks and 1 block. Mads Gampong and Mads, yung kalaban nyo in this matchup, a much younger team. Paano nyo inatake yung laban na to?
Kahit alam namin naman na kalaban namin na full legit, hindi pa rin po kami magre-relax. Nagtitraining po kami na kung ano karapat-dapat po para sa game.
24 teams yung meron sa ating Spikers Turf Open Conference. Lahat ng yon nakatingin sa inyo as the benchmark, as the gold standard dahil kayo yung defending champions. Is that additional pressure on your shoulders?
Gagawin po pa rin po namin lahat na alam namin na lahat naman yan naghahanda po. Pero kailangan pa rin namin maganda para sa team namin.
Ngayon, bibigyan ka namin ng pagkakataon. Batiin yung supporters mo at ng inyong buong koponan.
Binabati ko po pala na lahat ng mga taga-Air Force, na mga at saka mga family ko, binabati ko sa Pampanga po, Danan family, lalo yung anak ko, tsaka yung asawa ko, tsaka yung mga pamilya ko sa Tawi-Tawi po. Musta na po kayo? Sana manood kayo.
Congratulations, Mads Gampong, our best player of the game, sending it back over to Mosh Cruz for our highlights.
Congratulations to our best player and of course Philippine Air Force for getting their first win here in the 2019 Open Conference. Now let us look back what happened here in this game. On the first set, Philippine Air Force relaxed a bit in the beginning, and the LPU, we saw how eager they were in the first set. But of course, attacking errors of LPU took a toll on them. Attacking errors, receiving errors as well. They had 11 on that first set. 0 aces, 0 ace, 2 blocks, and you know, the attacks of the Philippine Air Force outnumbered the LPU on the first set.
In the second set, we saw more fight coming from the LPU Pirates, but Mads Gampong, Ranan Abdilia, just too much to overcome the attack points. Nagpaulan itong Philippine Air Force go for goal Jet Spikers with 14 in the second set.
Now, on the third set, nakita natin mas lumaban yung LPU. A few adjustments from them, but because of the power players from the Philippine Air Force, they had Gampong, Abdilia, Malabanan, Labrador, and also Mojica, who played on the third set. Talagang maganda yung ginawa ng Philippine Air Force, and LPU, medyo humabol sila nung dulo, but still they were not able to get a win in this game.
And these are your final numbers. Outstanding display of volleyball coming from the Philippine Air Force, the favorites here in our 2019 Open Conference, as they are the defending champions. Yan na po muna for Mosh Cruz. My name is Carlo Pamintuan. One more match coming up, and it will feature the Philippine Coast Guard Dolphins against a 12-time NCAA champions, Perpetual Altas. That will happen when we come back.